The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, welcome everybody. This is Jonathan. It's 1 o'clock on a Thursday, March 19th, 2020. And you are tuned into the ProbateData PowerGym. And I am very, very honored and delighted to have you on board today. I know there's a lot going on and there's a lot of other things you could be doing, but instead you decided to tune in today and give us your most valuable resource, which is your time. So my commitment to you throughout the rest of this webinar, which will last about 30 to 45 minutes, is to be fully engaged with you and fully committed to offering you answers to your biggest questions. So before we get into that, I want to make sure you guys can hear me and you can see the screen. And before we continue, just in the Q&A, over on the Q&A box on the right-hand side, just say, yes, I can hear you. All right, Deepak is in, he's committed. Jeff is in, Paul is in, Dan, Suzanne, Susan, Joyce, Mary, Stacy, Fran. Wow, this is awesome, guys. I see so many names that I actually know. Some of you have been with us for years and some of you just started. This is fantastic. This is wonderful. You know, before we get into today's agenda, right, and this is the agenda, we're going to talk about the tale of two wolves. You might be asking yourself, what do two wolves have to do with my life right now? And I'll explain that later. We'll talk a little bit about the current state of affairs. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. We're going to talk about why and how you matter more than ever now. And let's talk about being of service. The bigger the problem, the bigger and the greater the solution, the more help you can be, right? And then how are we here at ProbateData going to be able to help you today, regardless of what your local courthouse is doing, whether they're open or closed, whether they're delayed or not. We have a solution for you. And at the end, I want to talk to you about an analogy of a VCR. For those of you that are younger than me, a lot younger, I should say, by half my age, I'm 45. You probably don't know what a VCR is, but I can tell you when they came out, a video recording device, when they came out, it was a hassle to program those, and that was a mystery. Now you have DVRs, right? Or a car stereo. So we'll talk about those couple things here. But before we get into all this, I want to give you guys a heads up, disclaimer. Like many of you, I am working from home. So that means you, from time to time, might hear my kids in the background. I got a 5.5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old, both of them girls. Luckily, they get along really, really, really well. And usually around this time, the youngest one is going down for a nap around 12, 12:30. But today was the day she decided she wasn't going to do that. So we're going to see how this plays out. So if you hear anything in the background, that's what's happening. I hope you guys are okay with that. All right. So I just want to acknowledge where everyone is at, okay? Because I can certainly say from where I've been at the last week or so, it's been a roller coaster of emotions, ranging from fear, doubt to like utopian, romanticizing what's going on, like, oh, we're all going to be kumbaya and get it together now, to like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And you want me to do what with my kids for how many months? Homeschool? What do you, like, the emotions have been everywhere, right? And then I just want to acknowledge that that's what's been going on for me and for people I talk to. So if you've been experiencing fear, if you've been experiencing doubt, if you've been experiencing uncertainty, congratulations, you're human, right? That happens to all of us. So it's good to know and good to experience fear and stress. But what's not so great is to stay stuck there. You don't want to build a house there, right? So to speak. You want to acknowledge that it's happening, and then you want to know what's next. Which kind of brings me to this idea of the tale of two wolves. This is a story I originally heard from a Native American, and I will be taking questions later. Just see this. Yes, there will be a replay. We'll offer that later. So this is a story that was told to me by the Native American. I think it's from the Cherokee Nation. The story goes a little bit like this. Imagine for a moment that it's a dark night. You got the bonfire going, right? And you got Grandpa sitting there, and he's stoking the fire, and slowly the tribe gets together around the fire, and then his family gets around the fire, and his grandkids get around the fire. And one of the grandkids says, "Hey, Grandpa, why are there good things and bad things happening?" Why is there such a thing as fear? Why are some people scared? Why are some people bad? Why are some people evil? Why are some people good? And the grandfather sits for a while. He goes, well, it's a little bit like this. Imagine inside of us there are two wolves. There's the dark wolf and the white wolf. The dark wolf is the wolf of the night, the one that stirs up all your fears and your anxiety, the one that makes you want to take the shortcut, the one that makes you want to do bad things, quote unquote. And the white wolf is the one of love and compassion, greater vision, courage, right? And they're constantly having a battle inside of you. And the kids, they sit there and they say, okay. And finally, one of the kids, he looks at Grandpa, well, which one's going to win? And he says, whichever wolf you feed the most. So this is what's going on, guys, right? We all have these two sides of us inside of us that's constantly trying to fight it out. Now the question is, which wolf are you going to feed the most? The one that feeds off of fear is obviously the dark wolf, the one that pulls you out of your centeredness, if you will, and it's the one that feeds off of fear, and it is fear itself. So what feeds the fear is if we start looking everywhere else for certainty. If we start looking at the news, the social media feeds, we don't know what's going to happen next week, the next day. Sometimes we get surprised every 24 hours. I can tell you from experience, just the last couple of days, learning what was going on with my kids' school situation, that was a day by day touch and go, right? And I know that I've been there. I've been there many times before where I let fear kind of color and set the tone of the day and the week and the month, and it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty. So what I told my staff this morning, I had a staff meeting with Alyssa and with Demetrius. I said, you know, one of the opportunities we have here is like we have to understand that courage itself is not the absence of fear. Courage is the judgment, a judgment call that there's something more important than fear itself. And once you make that judgment call over fear, that there's something more important than fear itself, now you get to a point where you need to realize it's time to act. So it's okay to have a moment of fear, have a moment of inaction, but don't stay there. So the current state of affairs is this. We're currently in a situation that we never found ourselves to be in before. We've never been in this situation where we had to fight an enemy, so to speak, that we couldn't identify, we couldn't see, and it kind of snuck up on us and lives within us, right? It's a virus. But the bigger virus, you guys, I'm getting some people saying they're not getting audio. Let me just make sure some of you just confirm that you're getting audio, or is it everyone not getting audio right now? Okay, some of you are not getting audio. All right, so those of you that are not getting audio, I can't help you, sorry. Everyone else can hear me. So the current state of affairs is this, right? There's a virus, COVID-19, coronavirus going on, as you all know, and it's affecting how we live, and it's affecting how we work, and it's affecting how business is done. So let's just acknowledge that. That's the biggest elephant in the room, right? Let's not ignore what's going on. Let's not pretend that this is something that's not going to affect us. We can either be affected by it, or we can choose not to be affected by following the safeguards that are recommended, which is isolate as much as you can. But even though you live in different parts of the country, you might be experiencing varying degrees of lockdown and isolation. Make sure we want you to know that you're not alone here, right? We're here for you. We're here side by side. We want to get you through this. Because here's the truth. We started these companies in the darkness of winter, in the darkness and the cold, harsh truth of a recession back in 2008-9. And we tried all the way through. We focused intensely on our customers. We focused on delivering value, and we focused on pushing through for everyone. And I got to tell you, of all the members that are with MTI Education and ProbateData, most of you have stuck with us, have been with us for the last 10 years since we started. So when you start something in the cold, harsh winter of a recession, and you stick through the good times and the bad times, there's some things that we've experienced that we've been able to relate to our members that builds resilience, and that's what I want to do today, if that's okay with you. Let's talk a little bit about why you're here and why you matter more than ever. You, as real estate agents, may have forgotten about how powerful you are. So let me just remind you, when escrow closes, that's where everyone gets paid besides you. All the other parties that you brought into this. And this is something that Brad Brinkman brought to my awareness a while ago. You know, you have escrow company, title company, termite company, contractors, all these other different parties that are getting paid out of your transaction. You're the bridge to greater wealth. You're the bridge to a greater solution as a real estate agent. And I don't care what technology is out there that says, you know, it can do your job better than you. In some instances, it might be true. In some instances, technology can do the trick. But right now, what people need most is not necessarily a technology or push button solution. What they need is confidence. What they need is leadership. And this is where you come in and why you matter more than ever. You are still that bridge between here and there being the solution and here being something they don't want to deal with. And in probate, if you're a PR, if you're an executor, an administrator, you're faced with the same uncertainty like everybody else. And now you're in charge of grandma's estate, and there's a potential of $700,000 or $800,000 that needs to get distributed to the beneficiaries and the heirs and pay off the debt, and you might get $50,000, $60,000, or $80,000 or $100,000 out of that. Yeah, you're motivated to move on, but you're still uncertain. You might still be unclear. You might still be scared. And this is where you come in as the real estate agent, as the CFES agent, right? Because you know the territory they're about to walk through. You know the uncertainty they're about to get through when it comes to probate. So imagine this: if someone could remove half of your uncertainty, how good would you feel? So everyone's facing the uncertainty of the COVID-19 coronavirus. Now imagine you're a PR and you now have this loaded gun of uncertainty kind of pointing right at you, and you have all these heirs looking at you and creditors and like, oh my God, how am I going to navigate all this? This is where you come in. You are that bridge between here and there being the solution to the problem that the PRs are facing. So remember, the bigger the problem, the greater the solution. And the bigger the problem, the greater the solution, the bigger the payday. Now, I hate to sound crass, but at the end of the day, we have to face reality for what it is. We have to have faith that things are going to get better, and we have to get to work. We have to get to work. We got to keep the wheels turning here. So for those of you that are in California, you might have listened to Governor Newsom's press conferences, the last two that he had. He always reemphasizes, no matter what, keeping the kids at home. You have to stay at home. You got to homeschool them and all that. Figure out a way to keep the solutions going, keep the wheels turning. We can't stop commerce, right? So now's the time where we're going to get even more creative than ever before. It's a time that we have to kind of see things for what they are, but more importantly, come up with a solution. So your biggest resource right now, your number one resource is your imagination. From your imagination comes creativity. From your imagination comes creativity, comes solutions. And from there you can execute. Now I'm getting questions on the chat right now, like this all sounds great, but how are we going to figure out the social distancing thing if we can't meet with prospects? I want to address that just a little bit. So remember, the bigger the problem, the greater the solution, the bigger the payday. Now, if you position yourself as that bridge and you understand why you're more important than ever, then you become the solution to what these PRs are going through. Now, granted, depending on the degree of lockdowns and isolation and social distancing that you're embracing right now, and they're either embracing voluntarily or you're forced to because of where you are in the country, you have to get creative. Remember, they still need a solution. They still need to figure this out. So you have to come up with a solution. Can you meet with people virtually? Can you do a walkthrough of the property with social distance? Can you do a FaceTime? How can you use technology to help you in your commitment to helping these PRs? Now, I want to talk about how ProbateData can help you. I want to talk about that. Just a moment. I got distracted by some of your remarks. I want to talk to you about how ProbateData can help you, because one of the things that's really absolutely 100% real is that some courthouses might be having closures, or they're not taking new cases for the next week, 2, 3 weeks, or 4 weeks even. And that's a reality. That's very real. So that's the first question, is probably then, well, if we're not taking new cases, then how are we going to prospect? If we're not getting leads, if we can't go to the courthouse and we're not getting new leads from ProbateData, how are we going to prospect? And this is where I'm very, very excited. I'm very proud to say that ProbateData is the only company out there involved with probate leads that gives you a deep bench. What I mean by that, we have archives going back several years that you can access. And what's the point here? The point is that roughly 85%, maybe 90% of cases get settled within 12 months. That means 10 to 15% of cases get settled outside of those 12 months. Now, I've taught this before in different contexts. I've taught this, and you've heard this from our team. If some of you might know Megan really well, Megan Walk on our team, she's given you guys these strategies before, is that you go back in time and you find cases where the property has not sold yet. So if the property hasn't sold yet, what does that tell you? Well, it tells you one of several things. Either there's no need to sell it, which is highly unlikely, but sometimes that happens, or the probate case is dragged on and nothing has been touched or done for over a year. Now, how many agents do you think are actually prospecting there now? Not that many. So what I've been teaching now for the last 6 months as part of the strategy is how to go back in time. How to go back and look for these people that are highly motivated to sell because no one's really calling on them, no one's helping them. It's been a year. They finally at a point where they're like, okay, we got this thing figured out. Whatever was holding them up in court, whatever was going on with the beneficiaries and all that, we've got it. We're ready to go, right? So how do we find those people that what we call the golden leads? So before we get into that, let me just see if there's any questions. Okay, so first I want to do, you guys with me? Let me see how many of you are still there. Yeah, we're still at capacity. You still with me? Some of you are challenged with sound. So I can't help you with that. The majority, almost 99% of you are saying sound is good. Okay, so let me just answer a few questions before we get into the next point where I want to show you how to get these leads. So this is where we're going to use the analogy of VCR or car stereo. Okay, good. Just to reassure you, this whole thing is being recorded. Yes, it is. I just double checked. This whole thing is being recorded, and we'll put it up on a YouTube channel, and I'll email everyone later again with the replay link with any resources that I mentioned. So you guys can just, there'll be notes and there'll be replay. Just kind of go along with what I'm saying here. Now, the analogy here is, I wrote it down. I have an analogy in my mind. Let me just refresh my memory here. Analogy, okay, it's coming back. All right. So think back to the time when you got a VCR and you had to figure out how to program it. So I remember when my parents got a VCR, they were excited about it. They could record 1 or 2 shows at a time. It was awesome. And they got this big fat manual, right? And my dad read it and he's like, "Oh, this is okay. I think we got to do this. And when you got to push this button in, this height." And then he messed up. And then looked at the manual and said, "Dad, I think it's this page. You're looking at the wrong page." He goes, "Oh, okay, let's try that." And he tried it again. He missed one of his shows. He was super upset about it. He's like, "Okay, it's not that page. There's something else we got to do." And then I studied the manual and I played around with it. I said, "Well, can I just do it? Let me just show you. Let me just do it for you." He goes, "Okay." So then I did it, and we ended up recording his favorite shows, and he was super happy about it, right? And then same thing happened later with the car stereo. As the car stereos got more and more advanced, and I started driving myself, and now, I'm 45 now. Sometimes I have to rent a car because we have only one car in this family, and sometimes I get these super advanced stereos that I plug in my iPhone, and there's Apple CarPlay. I remember the first time I had to figure this out. I was like, "Oh, what's going on here?" And I had to read the manual. Then I had to go to YouTube and find a guy that was actually doing it and show me how to do it. I was like, okay, let me do it. And then lastly, I was like, before I picked up the car, I pulled a guy out that was renting it to me, and I said, can you just show me how to work this thing and just program it to do this and that? He goes, yeah, I got you. So similar to that analogy, that's what I kind of want to do with you today. I could just show you where we have the training on YouTube that talks about how to do the golden leads. And all of you have access to ProbateData. Some of you have never logged in there because you're getting emails sent to you on a regular basis. But if I go into youtube.com/ProbateData, so this is me giving you the manual, right? This is youtube.com/ProbateData. That's the manual. Now I'm giving you the manual playlist, which is the page where you can find the page of the instructions that are relevant. Golden leads, where are they? So this is where you want to start playing the golden leads, roughly around 10 minutes and 45 seconds. And this shows you how to get the golden leads, the golden opportunity leads, which is basically going back in time, finding the leads that are filed over a year ago, 12 to 18 months, and then finding the ones that haven't sold yet. I'm going to show you how to do that right now, okay? Then lastly, I'm going to show you the done for you solution, which if you stay until the end of the webinar, there's going to be a nice little surprise for all of you, but you got to stick through this webinar, okay? So let me show you how it's done. Let me show you why it works and why it's super cool, okay? So I'm going to do my own area here. I'm going to do downtown LA. Let's say I want to go back, excuse me, I want to go back a little while here. So I'm going to go back to, let's say, May of 2019 through, let's just do, let's do 8/31/2019. So that's over a year ago. That's a good almost 18 months ago, right? I'm going to do downtown LA. And then I'm going to hit search. So again, I'm going back in time. And there's like 1,200 entries here, right? So what I'm looking for is not all of these. I'm looking for the ones that haven't sold in that time period. Hold on just a second. Let me close the window here. I think there's background noise going on. Hold on a second. My youngest daughter found the box below the chain unit. She loves to pull it out, throw it on the floor, throw it on the table, and put it back in and do it over and over again. So let's get rid of that background noise. But interestingly enough, the timing is interesting, right? That's the sound of money. So maybe that says something. I don't know. All right, so you'll notice here there's a last sold column. So I'm just going to go forward a couple of pages because that's maybe not what you'll see. Let me go to the last page here. You're more likely to see a page like this. And it's going to see a last sold column. And then it's going to have these links that you have to click on. It says show. Now, the reason you got to click this is because it's live, right? We're clicking on this, and then we're making a quick call to Zillow because that's the only place that has nationwide access to all this information, and we want to be a nationwide platform until we figure out a better solution. But I want to click show, and it's pulling based on the address of the decedent. So the address of the decedent, and we're going to get either an NA or we're going to get a date. So I'm just going to start clicking show. Okay, so here's a good example, right? It was filed on May 8th of 2019, and it was sold in August. So we're not interested in that. Here's one that's really interesting. This was, as of Zillow, according to Zillow, this was sold in 2001. That was the last sale date, but it was filed in 2019. So what does that tell you? That tells you that most likely this property is available for sale, that nothing's happened on it. So I'm gonna click that checkbox right here. And here's another one, 2007. I'm gonna check that one as well. The filing date was May 8th, but the last sale date was 2007. Let me click a few more. So I can go through roughly 1,200 cases like this, and I go to one at a time. Now you guys can all do this yourself as well. Again, remember this is the analogy with the VCR, right? Now I'm showing you, this is me showing you how to do it. You could also watch this on YouTube. I'm showing you how to do this. Here's another one, 2001. Here's another one, 2005. Now, here's what you got to do, obviously, is once you have these, you want to do a quick cross-check with MLS, right? You want to do a quick cross-check with MLS and then see if this is still available. Because we're pulling this from Zillow, there could be a mistake. But as far as I can tell, as far as from what we heard from our community and people that are using this, they're getting amazing results. Actually, one of them that I keep referring to is Jerry Marbury. He's on our case studies here, success stories and interviews. If you go here, there's a story here with Jerry Marbury. Oh, there's Deborah Blue. This one right here. You guys can listen to this one later. I did an interview with Jerry Marbury, and he went from six figures in 12 months. He was like 4 or 5 figures in debt, and he went to 6 figures income in 12 months, and he was number one. He was in the top 1%. He was number 5 out of 500 agents in his company, just using this strategy that I'm showing you right now. So again, what I'm saying is we're learning from our community that this actually works. Okay. Here's another one, 2001, 2005. We got that one. 1984, 1972. You guys catching what I'm saying here? Are you picking up what I'm putting down, so to speak, right? So you could go through all these and show them, and then you say, okay, I selected these, and I'm just going to export them out. And what happened? Where'd it go? Did I hit export? I didn't hit export, did I? Come on, ProbateData, don't let me down now. We got 200 people watching. There it is. All right, slight delay. But let's just say here's the 6 cases, right? And it's preparing the cases for download, so that means it's pulling all the stuff from Zillow and whatnot. Usually this is a little bit faster. I think we might have a lot going on right now on ProbateData. It has to do with my little surprise/gift that I have for everyone on today's webinar. Because I know we're using all our resources. We've added more servers and more capacity in the last few days. So basically what we're doing, we're pulling this information right now, and you can download it as a CSV or a PDF. So let's see if it's done. Is that the one downloading right here? Hold on, guys. This is live. Where is it? It's coming. So I'm just going to look at questions while we. So Winifred is asking, what date spread did I use? I went back about 18 months. So if I show you, the date spread, you'll see here. So that's the date spread that we use, about 15 to 18 months went back. So Dan is asking, would it be a good idea to pull NA as well? I don't think so, because now you're just looking, you're shooting around, right? You're just shooting at random and looking for stuff. That's going to take a lot of time. If you have that time, go for it. I mean, if you're now just spending all day at home and you're looking for stuff to do, then go for it. Like this is an example you could pull from, right? And that's how you would do it. So now if you download this, right, it doesn't count towards your previous download. So Mike Ace is asking, if I download this and I've already downloaded before this case, does it count to my monthly limit? No, it doesn't. So we're going to let this thing figure itself out. So my point is this. The way you do this is, I'm not going to do it again right now. Just go in here to ProbateData.com. Sorry, YouTube.com/ProbateData. And then when you're on the playlist, when you're on the homepage here, you go to playlist. you go to golden leads. What are they? You know, I can send you guys a direct link to this and how to do it yourself if you want to. Let's see if this thing is done. I don't know if this is the one, guys. Let's see here. No, that's not it. All right, so you do the download. And I don't know if this is interfering with GoToWebinar. All right, but here's the bottom line that I wanted to drive with this point. As you can tell, ProbateData is able to do it, but I think the reason it's slowing down a little bit is because I got my team right now kind of doing this for you as we speak. So let me ask you, going back to this analogy, right? The best, so one option is have the manual, specific page of the manual, get it done, or done for you, right? So in terms of convenience for you guys, in terms of what would be the best fit for you, is like I just show you the manual where you could find it, right? You go in, you do a search, specific page in the manual, that would be your the YouTube page, right? That shows you how to do it. Now get it done and done for you. What would that look like, ideally? Let me hear from you guys. If we were to do this for you, what would be ideal for you guys? Let me hear from you. All right, so Janice saying a list, leads. Okay, leads. Have your team pull the list for us. Automatically mail it out for us. All right, so I'm getting a lot of, these are the three things that I'm seeing. You do it, meaning we do it for you. We email you the list, and we repeat. So here's what we're going to do. This is what I wanted to talk about, right? We really want to make sure you guys are successful. We want to make sure that you have all the tools you need, and we want to make sure that you have leads, even though the courthouse might be going through a slump right now. Even though your local courthouse might be experiencing a little bit of a slump, or they're closed for the next week or two, or the next 3 weeks even, they cannot and they will not stay closed indefinitely. So that means, so based on the calls we place into different courthouses, what's happening is some courthouses are still accepting new cases, but they're not publishing them, or they're not making them available and you can't go in and see them. Or some courthouses are not taking any new cases, but they're having hearings on existing cases. Or some courthouses are not doing anything at all. They're just waiting it out. They're not doing any cases. They're not doing any hearings. Everything's getting pushed out. Everything's getting pushed out. But guess what? The people that filed over a year ago, they are now in that system as well. They need to move forward as well. And they haven't sold their property. And the best way I can think of we can help you is if we did this for you. If we emailed you a list once a week with roughly 30 to 50 cases that were filed over 12 months ago, where we knew that that these cases were very likely to have real estate in that have not sold yet. And remember what I did? I did this painstakingly, one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. I had to see what was last sold. Well, this is what my team is doing right now, actually. We're downloading for all 89 counties that we service across the country. We're downloading and prepping these cases for you on a weekly basis. And we're going to do this for the next month until April 15th. No questions asked. And we're not going to charge you for it. We're not going to upsell you. We're not going to upcharge you. We know, even though we know this is highly valuable, we're not going to charge any extra dollars for this. As long as you're a standing member with ProbateData, you're going to get this delivered to your inbox every week based on your counties. So Some of you are ProbateData Platinum and you have selected 3 counties, so we're going to send you for all those 3 counties. Those of you that are not ProbateData Platinum, we know which county you prospect in, your main county. So we're going to send you leads for that particular county. Okay. Now, we're going to do this, and you're going to start seeing emails going out starting tomorrow and then next week as well. We're going to do our best to keep it consistent every single week. So you can expect an email from us every single week with leads, with a spreadsheet that has all these leads in there for you with the last sale date in it according to Zillow. And now all you have to do is cross-reference with MLS and make the phone calls, send the letters out. Okay. So now let me address some of the other questions that came up. This is what we're going to do for you. You don't have to do anything. There's no action needed on your end. We're going to start doing this automatically. We're going to upgrade everyone's accounts to this new service level. We're going to do this at no cost until April 15th. Now, we don't know what's going to happen by April 15th. Things could be getting worse. Things could be getting better. I don't know. But I can promise you this. As long as you're with us, we're going to adjust. We are with you side by side. We will do whatever is in our power to educate you and empower you and enrich your lives with the best of breed technology, with coaching, and with community. Excuse me. So that means instead of doing these webinars every 2 weeks, we're going to do one every week. So next week, we're going to do another one. And every Thursday, we're going to do one until April 15th. We're going to keep a finger on the pulse, what's working for you guys, what's not working, and how we can help you guys move forward. Okay? Now, let's talk about this social distancing. Guess what? It's not just you that has to go through social distancing. It's the entire country. Everyone is adjusting. Everyone is doing the best they can. Everyone wants to move forward. Everyone wants to progress with life as best as they can. Everyone is trying to figure out this new awkward normal. So that means you can choose one of 2 things. You can choose to wait and see what happens, or you can choose to lead and make it happen. For who? Well, obviously for yourself, for your family, for your community, for your country, but also for your clients, your prospects, the people you want to help. So this is how I recommend you do it. This is how I would lead with social distancing. I want you to start embracing technology like you never have before. Look into technologies like Skype, FaceTime, Zoom video. Zoom video is something we'll probably use next week to give you guys a taste of it, where you can do video conferencing, right? And you can get creative with that with your sellers. Become the beacon of light, become the rock of confidence for these people. They're scared. They don't know what's going to happen next. But I can guarantee you this, if you're a PR and you're executor or administrator and you're sitting on an estate, you don't want this added layer of uncertainty and another layer of job description that you didn't really sign up for, which is managing this whole estate and this whole mess. You want to get out of it more than ever. Talk about motivation. They're super motivated now. So don't be sleazy about it and get at them because you just want to sell. Don't come at them with commission breath. Come at it from a point of leadership. How can you lead them? How can you take them through this path many times that you've been through yourself with a sense of compassion and knowledge? And the same thing if you work with attorneys. Acknowledge the problem, acknowledge it, recognize what's going on, and offer solutions around it. Now, let's see here. Just looking for questions. Let's see here. Paul is, okay, so some of you are asking, I am doing San Bernardino and Los Angeles. Will I get both counties? If you're ProbateData Platinum, obviously you'll get the counties that you signed up for. If you're just ProbateData, you'll get the county that we believe you're in based on what you're prospecting. So we can see where you've been searching. We can see where your billing address and zip code is, and based on that, we're guessing your county. So we'll get you leads for that county. Obviously, if you're like, look, I don't want this county, I want another county, just email us back, and we'll put you on the right list. Okay, we have a lot of members across 80 counties. So we're trying to service all of you as much as we can. We got over, we got a lot of members. That's what I'm trying to say, basically. So if something's not working for you, don't take it personal. Just say, hey, this is not the list that I want. It's more relevant for me if I got this county or that county. Okay, and we'll get you sorted out. Lorraine is asking about these are not scrubbed. I need to go through each and every lead that you send and check the tax records, and probably 1/3 of these are not even viable leads. Lorraine, you might be in Arizona, and Arizona is a closed state, and that's where you have to do that extra work of scrubbing the leads and checking tax records. I agree with you. That's a lot of work. Laura's asking where I get my leads in PDF format. Why don't we do this? What if we send it out in both PDF and in Excel? Let's see. Any other questions? All right. So some of you are asking, how can I get to those golden leads again? You can do it yourself. Again, you don't have to. Going back to this analogy, right? I just gave you the manual and I gave you the specific page, which is YouTube. You can go do this yourself. That's fine. And if you don't want to wait for us to email you the leads, that's okay. Go do it. It's on ProbateData. So go to youtube.com/probatedata.com and then click on the playlists and then look for the golden leads. Okay. And I'm going to send you everyone a direct link with today's recording. Some of you are asking what's the difference in pricing between regular and platinum. So again, this whole webinar was not intended to kind of sell you guys on platinum. I'm just giving you the state of affairs. But for those of you that are interested, you can email support@probatedata.com and it will get you set up on platinum. The difference is only $18 a month. So instead of $49, you're paying $67, and that we'll email you the leads directly up to 3 counties. You never have to log into ProbateData again. So if you're on ProbateData Platinum and you've already signed up for that for a while and you are subscribing to 3 counties, we'll send you leads for those 3 counties. They may not all come at the same time. They may come in different emails, but you'll get them every week. So Paul is asking, when can we expect to get our first list? I don't know what sequence we're sending it out, but I think we're going to start sending it out tomorrow through Monday. We should be done with the entire list because we have agents in all 80, I think it's 89 counties at this point. So we're sorting through that out. I'm trying to batch it together as much as possible. We're doing a lot of database work, which is why ProbateData might be a little bit slow. So that's it for today, guys. I promise you this will be about half an hour. We went through my agenda. We talked about tools, the current state of affairs, why you matter more than ever, the bigger the problem, the greater the solution. We talked extensively how ProbateData can help you today, regardless of what your local courthouse is doing, which means we're going to start sending you leads of cases that were filed over a year ago that still haven't settled based on the records of the last sale date. So expect that to go out regularly starting Friday. And we're going to continue this through April 15. Okay. So let me just highlight that. So we're going to do this every month. Now, every week, sorry. I'm going to send out another email. We're going to do another webinar next week, Thursday, same time, same channel. And then we'll get that going. Deepak is asking, Deepak, what was your question? Can you repeat that, please? Sandra, you're very welcome. Sandra is thanking us and the team. You're welcome. Paul is asking if we can help him how to spell better. I don't know, Paul. That's the wrong channel. You got to go to my daughter's YouTube channel for that. They have a special class for 5th grade on how to spell. Maybe maybe you'll get something out of that there. All right. Deepak is asking, can I look for companies that lend money for property repairs and prep work and get paid on the escrow, close of escrow? Also, contractors who will work in the same manner. So basically, Deepak is looking for people that will do all the work up front without getting paid until escrow closes. That would be great, Deepak, and I think that's a wonderful idea. you need to start networking with your local providers. So local mortgage companies, financing, contractors, things like that, and tell them like, are you willing to do the work up front? You can put a note in with escrow. I don't know how you would do that technically, but that's a great idea. It might be more reason for the PR to work with you. It's a great strategy, but we can't give you resources for this because everything's so localized. So I know that you're in Orange County, but then where in Orange County, right? Then you need to find people that are reliable, that you trust, people that are actually going to do the work and show up. So, when you commit to the PR that this is going to get done, it's going to get done. You don't stand there with egg in your face. So that's a lot of networking, and I would ask that you do it and let us know how it works out for you. All right, Lorraine, I see your second comment. Why don't we take this offline about your leads not being scrubbed? I have your contact information. I'll shoot you an email when we're done with this webinar, and we'll see what we can do for you, okay? Nina's asking, if I have the Platinum plan and I want to add one more county, what would be the monthly fee? So the $67 covers 3 counties. If you want to add an additional county, it is $20 per month per county above the 3 counties. So let's say you added another county, it would be $87. If you added another county, so now you have 5 counties, it would be $107. So, and so on and so forth. Alvaro's asking, do you do one-on-one coaching? I need it. We've been getting a lot of requests for that, so I know that's in our back of our minds how to offer that. Jeff is asking, how do we add a third county? Jeff, just email support@ProbateData.com and Demetrius will get you sorted out. So let me just put that email address up there. For any questions, how to upgrade, adding more counties, just email Demetrius. He's amazing. He's your man. You email him support@ProbateData and he'll get you sorted out, okay? You got that, Jeff? All right, Jeff, you got it. Joyce is asking a really interesting question. What do we do once we have these golden leads? What's the best approach? Well, I would say use the approach that you've been using so far with a small twist. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. The letters you send out or the call scripts that you have could be prefaced by simple things like, hey, Sarah, I understand you're the PR for your grandma's estate, and I know nothing's moved for over a year. It must have been tough. Yeah, well, get them talking. Well, I'm just reaching out because I can help you get this thing finalized. I imagine with the real estate located on 123 Main Street, and if you have a lot of equity in it, it'll help you a lot during these times. How can I help you? Where did you get stuck? Is there anything I can do for you? I have a team of professionals standing by. You see, I'm CPRES, which means I've been certified in the process, I understand probate, and I have a whole list of professionals that can help you out. Now, the list of professionals that I'm referring to here, Joyce, is the people that you network with. So you have attorneys that you network with CPAs, maybe with contractors, estate sales companies. This is what we tell you. It's like build your team of professionals, your team of pros around you. So when you get someone say, yes, I'm so lost. I need help with estate sale. I need help with cleanup. I need help with the money. I need help with some legal stuff. You have someone you can refer to them, right? Take the pressure off of them. Let's see here. Jeff, yes, absolutely. Call the beneficiaries. Jeff is asking, we have a home that has $300,000 in equity. That's foreclosure, PR, and attorney don't pick up phone or return calls. We recommend calling beneficiaries. Jeff, I recommend 2 things. I'll go knock on the door of the attorney, remind the attorney of his or her fiduciary duties to the estate. I would also create what I learned in sales 18 years ago called a circle of leverage, which basically you start contacting all the people that surround the prospect. So on the vertical level, the people next to them and above them and below them. So in the PR's case, I would contact, for example, as many beneficiaries as you can, right? And understand what their relationship is. And say, look, we want to help you. It's going to foreclosure. If we do nothing, you get nothing. The bank gets it and it's too late. Look, as an agent, I'm okay with that because I'm going to get the listing from the bank probably. but I really want to help you. You've got $300,000 in equity. Let me ask you, if you got your share of 300,000, which it looks like there's three heirs here, roughly 100,000 or 80,000, what would that do for you? Get them fired up, get them engaged. They may not even know what's going on, Jeff. Winifred is asking, do we have processing steps if property is in reverse mortgage? Reverse mortgage, regular mortgage doesn't really matter, right? If there's a reverse mortgage on it, the main thing you're looking for is motivation. It doesn't matter what the underlying debt instrument is. Reverse mortgage, regular mortgage, no mortgage, it doesn't matter. You're looking for motivation. Speak to the motivation and everything else will fall in place. I guarantee it, Winifred. I guarantee it. Guys, don't overanalyze this. If someone has a reverse mortgage, that just means that the decedent was running out of cash before they ran out of health, and the only way they had to pay for health bills and all that and to get along with their lives was to take out a reverse mortgage. What about if it's underwater? Guys, these are great questions. This actually reminds me when we started roughly 10 years ago, we were seeing a ton of these questions. Hey, what if the property is in short sale? What if it's in foreclosure? What if it's this? What if it's that? If it's underwater, it's about to go through foreclosure or short sale, trust me, the bank would rather get this settled in probate and get out of it than going through a foreclosure. They don't want to drag this out forever in the probate courts, right? So talk about motivation. The banks are motivated to move this too. They're going through uncertain times. Stock markets is all over the place, mostly in decline, right? So the banks are being hit too. Again, guys, become the bridge to solutions. Fabian is asking, when the property went to courthouse, then back to reverse mortgages. I don't understand the question. I'm not sure what the question is, Fabian. Sorry. It went from owner to auction, back to reverse mortgage, and now title is in a reverse mortgage. Are you mean to say like the bank owns it? Can the admin sell it if the name is I'm trying to understand what I think what you're trying to say is, can the administrator sell the property if the name of on title is the bank? No, now the bank owns it. You're too late. At least that's my take. If a petitioner is the county administrator, how do I approach them? Oh, that's a great lead. That's a long-term cultivation lead, Nina. I would approach them like anybody else, from a place of service. How can I help you? I'm CPRES. I've done this. I know what's going on. Right? Build a relationship. They're probably getting a lot of emails, a lot of calls, a lot of letters, a lot of door knocking. You're not the only one. But guess what? Most agents give up after the 5th or 6th contract. So for those of you that stick through it all the way to the 12th or 13 or 14 or 15 or 20th contact, you're the ones that are going to get the business. You're the ones that are going to prevail. When everyone else is giving up, you're the ones that are going to stand out. Okay, Fabian, I think I answered your question. All right, guys, this has been nearly an hour. You know what would be really great, guys? Here, do this. Okay, for next week, I want you to email support at ProbateData. Email me topics, things that you want to be trained on, coached on, things you want me to speak to. If there's something I don't know, I'll bring someone in who knows about it. Okay, so I can speak about data and negotiations all day long. I love that stuff. It's I don't know, my brain is wired for it, and I enjoy it, and I have a fun time doing it. But if you guys have like questions around scripts, around door knocking, how do I say this? Then I'll bring in Brad Brinkman. If you have questions around like strategy or education, then I'm going to bring in Mike Torres, right? I'm going to bring in whatever it takes to keep you guys going. We're fully committed to your success, and we're going to do this again next week. So email support at ProbateData.com and say like, we would like more on this, more on resources, more on like what to say the first time, or how do we approach banks, or how do we approach this and the other. and we'll put together a lesson plan for next week. All right, guys, I'm going to go back to a little bit of daddy time before I dive back into doing more work. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been great. I'm so amazed with like how many people signed up and how many people stayed. This is wonderful. I love it. Great. All right, we'll see you next week. Be well, stay safe, and remember, take action. Don't let yourself get frozen by fear. Doesn't serve anyone, let alone you. You have work to do. Now get on it. See you next week.